go. I'm always off. There it is. There it is. Welcome to another We have an interview here. Special fun interview here on Saturday night. This is why we're not live right now. It's not our normal time. Sorry, thoughts. I'm prying you away from your kids here on a Saturday night.
They're asleep. This is why I can do. This is why I'm allowed to do this time.
Well, we wouldn't. I wouldn't drag him out of here away from his peaceful time here if we didn't have a really fun special guest here tonight. We have with us here Ian, the creative director of San Francisco City FC. Thank you, Ian, for joining us here tonight.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for reaching out and having me. Looking
Yeah.
forward to it.
No problems. We always talk about, League Two, especially League Two teams. It's kind of we don't know what we're going to get. So we always
either hit or miss.
Yes.
It's either like bang, 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 or all right, cool.
Yeah.
They got a Puma template.
Yeah.
So, we always like to reach out to, the good folks who are putting forth the effort in what can be called the Wild West of lower league soccer here. So we're so happy to include to have y'all on here tonight, especially after what y'all just released the other day. So we're just so happy to have you on here. And now, as we get started here tonight, honestly, I just want to just kind of talk about before this kit, like just San Francisco City FC and kind of what I don't know the best way to introduce the team here on the show.
Yeah, I guess the best way, I guess you could say, we're the oldest community-owned soccer club in the country. We kind of are the first, but like I think 2-3 months before we became community-owned, Nashville Soccer Club was a thing, and they were using supporter-owned, fan-owned terminology. I think they folded after a year or two. So we're like the oldest now since their RIP.
Survived.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's like our kind of like calling, and it's really been cool to see other clubs throughout the country kind of follow that same model, like the German model, and I think Belgium also has the same thing. We just think it's like the most authentic way for sports, especially like lower league soccer. But yeah, that's kind of like us in a nutshell.
Yeah. As a Borussia Dortmund fan, I am well versed in kind of how German clubs kind of run, so I'm always fully on board with that. So I have always kind of watched San Francisco City from afar for a while. So I'm always glad to hear that always be mentioned. That.
Yeah, especially like I just feel like San Francisco as a whole, like I almost have to move out there because it's just been like team after team is showing up and they're all killing the kit game for sure. And
yeah,
like I don't want to speak other teams while I'm hosting an amazing team, but like yeah, that definitely somewhere that I want to move to soon because I mean I live out in St. Louis, as you can tell by my sweatshirt, and we have a good ownership group, but like you said, like it's nice when it's community owned. It's a part of the fabric, and that's what makes a good program to me personally. So
yeah. I think to your first point, I think there's like something in the water here, I guess, where it's just a little bit different. But there's also like a rich like soccer history out here. So we started as a local semi-pro side in the San Francisco Soccer Football League. Very redundant name. But it's been a league for over 120 years. And it has 3 divisions. It has promotion relegation. Most notably, El Farolito, who won NPSL championship last season. They won the UN Cup in like 1995 or something like that. And they got that, or they were there through SFSFL.
Yeah.
Nice.
So you got that history kind of like ingrained in the culture here. So
Yeah, it's kind of like the West Coast version of the EPSL or the New York Cosmopolitan League. I think it is actually the one in New York.
yeah.
Similar type of thing. Honestly, as someone who's born raised Midwest, the West Coast is something I don't know enough about, to be honest. So I always love learning more about it because it's like the final frontier for me. Like not just historically, but like for me and like general knowledge. So I always love to hear and learn more about it because San Francisco is a beautiful city. The whole area is amazing from what I can tell, and just like as you elaborate, the soccer culture there is just it's unique and it's obviously it's more massive than I initially thought it was.
I think it's getting louder
Yeah,
finally. What it's needed to be.
Yeah, it's still like it's like big and it's also like still niche. Like
right.
there's a lot of pubs and on a weekend you'll be walking around and you'll see a bunch of people hanging outside of a pub watching Premier League or La Liga. But they don't know that there's a team or a few teams here.
Right.
Or like we'll have like sometimes we do like pop-ups at like craft markets or whatnot, and we'll be selling our merch, and we get like a handful of people. They're like, "Oh, are you guys a new MLS team?" And then we have to go down the whole spiel of a U.S. soccer pyramid structure.
Oh, it's a pyramid, and we're here. It's a thing. It's really cool.
Yeah, so it's just kind of like creating that awareness that we're here. No, we're not playing at the highest level, but that doesn't mean you can't come out, have fun, and enjoy yourselves. So things like our partnership with our transit agency Muni, that like opened so many doors. Well, also like 2 years ago we were like gonna go on hiatus because we didn't have a sponsor and there was like no money coming in. So we were like, I don't know what we're gonna do. So we kind of threw a Hail Mary, to use a different sports analogy. Then when that like was announced and got picked up by all these different like news outlets locally, it just kind of put us on like so many different people's radars. And I was running the merch tables this past season, seeing like so many new faces or new faces from like week 1 showing up week 14.
Yes.
And just asking like, oh, how'd you hear about the club? And I'm like, oh, I saw your ad on the Muni bus or the bus shelter. And also like we were able to do like a lot of ads on Instagram. So with our jerseys, and we had like really great photo shoot with some guys that hit us up, Killian Page and Brian Tran. So we put money behind those photos on Instagram, and that just like expanded our reach. Like I think throughout the season, I think we increased like our Instagram followers by like 2,000. Just by putting like, yeah, and like not even spending anything crazy. Like it would be. Sorry, I have like a background. Like my day job is in advertising, so little side reel here. Like I would like the strategy is I don't know if any other lower leagues are watching this now, but the strategy I've been using is like, okay, we sell our jerseys for $85, so maybe we could do an ad spend of like 50. That way, if we sell at least one jersey, it's paying for itself. Then we would eventually doing like a 50 ad buy per day that would get us like 5, 10, sometimes 15 orders throughout the day. So you're just kind of like printing money in a way. So it just kind of helps grow. Then, once it's kind of snowballs from there. So once more people are showing up, hopefully they're getting converted into members. That's like our main reason that we want to exist, is just like be a utility for the community.
Right.
and just have that kind of like civic pride. Then yeah, so our goal is to expand our fan base to attract people that want to invest in the club, that have like deeper pockets, that could help us get to a higher division.
Yeah. No.
That's I'm going to interrupt you because that's good to hear that, because you all are one of those teams that. So we were actually just speaking about this Thursday. In the USL League 2, there are either teams that are like trying to go pro, or there are teams that are like they like where they're at because they are like academy teams. So they get all their money from the youth sports and stuff like that, and which most teams have some sort of academy anyways, but like that's what they are. Like I have St. Charles FC down the road from me, and I know them more of an academy, and that they just happen to have a USL League 2 team. And you all are one of those teams that like you can always tell that when you can tell by the kit most of the time if they're investing in the jerseys and trying to put their name out there, show the world who they are, who their city is, then you can tell that they want more than where they're at. And that makes me happy to hear that you all are trying to move up at some point.
Yeah. Actually, in our division, we're the only team that's not an academy nor an affiliate of a professional club.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of USL like 2 teams.
So it's like 510 is below the Roots.
Yep.
Then Monterey Bay FC 2.
Yeah.
Then the rest are just academies that have been here for like decades, but they just either moved from NPSL or decided to get a senior team.
Right. One thing here quickly is honestly, you had mentioned that San Francisco City did that partnership with Mooney as a I'm gonna say this as a transit type of nerd that I am and kind of low-key urbanist. I love hearing those types of partnerships and even seeing some of that in the designs even last year. I love seeing that type of integration. As you said, it's something that I'm very passionate about, and seeing, soccer kind of mixed in with some of that, it's just a perfect cohabitation for me. And I always love it when things like that happen. And as you mentioned, it just gets more eyes on it. Because it is a publicly wide service, transit, the buses, the whatever, and it's easy marketing in that way, and it helps build that community and outreach. And then also, a lot of times those things have like cool designs, or semi-unique designs, and when it gets put into a kit, it adds that extra special flavor of locality to it that I personally loved, and I certainly enjoyed in last season's kit. And yeah, I just wanted to say that here real quick. I'll get that.
We're not good interviewers. We just give shout outs. Like,
that's all good. Let's see, a few things, I guess. So we actually had the ideas for the streetcar livery kind of uniform ideas for jerseys before the sponsorship even was possible, like even an idea. Because 2022 was our first year back from the pandemic, but it was also our first year with custom kits. We used Araya, who was like famously for their like Parma jersey, and they also made that jersey that was designed by a kid that had a dolphin. I forget what Italian club did.
Preccio, I think. No.
Yes. Yeah, it starts with a P. It's in the.
I actually bought one of their kits, so I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah. So we used them, and we kind of had like ideas. Like we did this like Paisley black on black hoop kit for our home. Then we had a fog kit, so it had like fog clouds that were like gradient kind of thing with hits of red. Then we had one that was designed by the Castro Theater. So since then, it's like, okay, we want to tell stories of San Francisco through our kits, just because we want to, like, you know, it's essentially I see the club as like a love letter to the city.
Aww.
So when we did those, I already had like ideas like planned out for the future.
Yeah.
Then we did like 2023, the away kit, which I'm actually wearing, is designed after KitSZN Stadium. It's our home stadium. So there's like a big arch, which is like this limestone that has this like faded pink paint. Then we had a seagull kit for the goalkeeper, because if you ever visit, you'll see these like signs that say 49 mile scenic route, scenic drive. And it has like a seagull, and it's blue. So we're like, okay, let's just make that a keeper kit. Then we did one in honor of Robin Williams, you know, famous resident here. So we had it look like Mork from Ork. Luckily, we didn't get a cease and desist, but it had like the orange hoops with like rainbow suspenders. Then we had a QR code for SF, suicide prevention, kind of nods like that. But yeah, then after those, I was like, we should do the train thing. Then coming out of 2023, you know, the whole idea was, okay, what's so SF where instead of asking them for money, I'll just make our jerseys even more like sought after.
Right.
So that's kind of how like the idea for Muni came, is like, you know, it's a really great logo, but it's also like, you know, synonymous, ubiquitous with San Francisco.
Yeah.
So yeah, and like I pitched it as like, because coming out of the pandemic, like, you know, a lot of like work was remote. A lot of people moved out. Like we had like a giant trunk. Like we were approaching like 900,000 people, and now I think we're just above 800,000 people. Like so many people like left.
Yeah.
So no one was riding the train or the bus anymore. So I was like, you know, maybe we could help promote ridership, because our stadium is close to like 5 lines.
Oh, I love that.
Then you could kind of help promote us, where we could get more people out. So it was kind of like a you help us, help each other kind of thing. Or we help you, you help us, we help each other.
Right. A lot of back scratching.
Yeah. So it was just like cherry on top that they were the sponsor on like these already preconceived ideas for like the livery and their old brown uniform.
I love that.
Love it when it works out, right?
Yeah. It was like, yeah, it would have looked odd if it was like some tech company like on the side.
It just. I love that.
A random tech company in San Francisco. I never heard of that.
So obviously you put in a lot of effort into coming up with these designs, and obviously lots of foresight put into, you know, planning and all that, and, you know, trying to hone in that community into your kits. And that brings me up to this newest one released, and I kind of want you to from your perspective, maybe if you want to kind of just elaborate on this kit and kind of how it ties into San Francisco, and kind of why certain decisions were made. You go and share that real quick, if you want.
Yeah, so it was kind of like a WPA or WPA, you know, kind of project, New Deal kind of thing, where it's like, okay, how can we kind of like get some positivity? That like this was before Muni, so this I think was like August 23. So we kind of weren't sure if we were going to play in 24, but we're like, okay, let's keep spirits high a little bit. So we asked our supporters. Actually, I think we opened it up to even just Instagram and when we were on Twitter to vote. It started off like, should we have a traditional kit or not?
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, let's do traditional kit. So from there, we had them vote on, do we want stripes? Do we want hoops? Sash, like any kind of like pattern.
Yeah, really.
What should we do? Yeah. Then it was like, okay, what about the color balance? How much should it be all black? Should it be all gold? Should it be 50-50? Stuff like that. And I think we did it for maybe 3-4 weeks. Then they picked, I call it a color block, but I guess it's just one wide stripe. But yeah, it's very similar to Ajax.
Yeah.
Their traditional kit. But yeah, so that was kind of it. Then what we'll do going forward is things like the cuffs and the collar. Those will change. This current one has those like kind of like zigzaggy kind of patterns on the side. That could change. None of our kits have it this year, but Mava has the capability of jacquard, so they could, kind of like put a pattern inside the fabric. So like a pretty famous one, or not famous, but one you could kind of easily see is like Real Madrid's current kit has a houndstooth in the fabric. So it's very subtle. Like you only see like when you're wearing it or up close and personal. But like it's a new way that we could kind of like include like little details.
Yeah.
Kind of like increase the quality a bit. But yeah, like the reception has been pretty great. Everyone internally loves it. Like I was looking all over the internet if any other club had a similar like traditional kit, and I couldn't find any. So that's kind of cool that it's kind of like so uniquely us. So I'm just excited to kind of like make it more consistent where, when you see a shirt that's, iron, gold, iron, you instantly know it's SF City.
It's actually one of the things that Fox and I have talked about numerous times, at least I have also really harped on, is I'm okay with teams having their home kit almost kind of being the same every year and building that tradition so that when you see it, it's theirs. As Taylor liked to point out, when you see a red kit, a lot of people think of Richmond, the Kickers, or like as I pointed out last year with Loudon with their fun pinwheel design. If they keep that up, you'll always know that's Loudon. And seeing that you recognize that you do have a tradition, and you can kind of build off of that, and then you're embracing that. I love that because a lot of things that we kind of talk about is lower league soccer. Teams love to kind of forget about their past and any traditions that they build up in sorts of like rebrands or for whatever reason they don't really embrace those traditions. And from what you're telling me, this kit kind of embraces that, right?
Yeah, we try to because before our bespoke kits, it was I think mostly gold at home and like black. I think we were using like Nike templates. It was just like a black Nike template. Then it became like a gold Nike template with like a tonal stripe. So it was always changing. And yeah, as we our whole mindset of prepping for the promised land, we would need something to kind of solidify. So the past couple of years, I've kind of taken over in 2023, and we're trying to kind of fine tune our branding and our identity. So this is just another evolution of that. And then also just because we're our nickname Fiero Yoro, iron and gold.
Also
We wanted both represented in the home kits. Those are like kind of like the official colors of San Francisco. It's in the motto. It's not necessarily represented in the flag, but the flag's another story. It's kind of bad. Don't Google it right now.
Oh, too late. It's already happening.
but yeah. So it's like SF colors. Our badge has like 3 iconic SF landmarks: Sutro Tower, the Transamerica Pyramid, and Golden Gate Bridge. Now with like the city's public transit, it's so SF. So that's kind of the goal.
Yeah, and you weren't kidding. That flag.
Yeah. It needs to get redesigned. So hopefully we'll do. Yeah. No, gosh.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be a phoenix, but it looks like a turkey.
It looks like a fried chicken, or like not a phoenix.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I drew that. Okay, I tried.
Little side gig.
Yes, I just mixed city flags.
The original one's a little bit better, from like 1906 or something, but yeah.
Was that one made in the 80s when they first started getting like digital art technically?
I don't know.
Doing it on Paint.
MS Paint, yeah.
Yeah. Some guy in the office. It's like, yeah, I know how to use Paint. It's fine. So, looks great, Greg. Thanks.
So basically, what you're telling me, we don't expect to see that on a kit anytime soon. Incorporating.
No, well, I think.
No, you have to.
I think in 2018, 2019, I think we added it on. Like, I think we had a kit with Icarus, I think, for like a Pride match, and it was on the sleeve or somewhere.
Okay. It's not.
But yeah, like I visited Chicago before, and it was like so cool to see like their civic pride, like with their flag, like everywhere, like houses on houses, not just
One
like
of the best
buildings
in the U.S.
Yeah, so I was like, I wish like SF had something like that, and that a side mission of mine is kind of like make these jerseys that.
Yeah.
In a way, so.
Yeah, you can. I feel like just this like black and gold. I know I'm not saying the right colors. I apologize, but
Okay.
this would be like a good city flag because, like you said, like Chicago's, it's simple. Like simple, it's better.
Yeah.
Like St. Louis's flag is one of my favorite flags too. It has like the fleur de lis and then this like wavy line, like.
Yep.
So that this could easily be a San Francisco flag.
Yeah. Just like Minnesota's newest flag that they did. I love also Indies, which is very simple as well. Especially Minnesota's. It's very simple, but like it's such an improvement. I always love it when teams try to incorporate those. Or in this case, maybe provide some ideas.
Yeah.
I think Kaylor's going to be so jealous when he sees this interview later.
Yes. Oh no. Yes, because we had like what was like an hour extra long episode last year when Taylor was like deep diving. Oh my gosh, I remember that now. Yes.
Every single city versus their flag. It was a very long night. But worth it.
So, yeah, as you kind of already talked about kind of this kit, is there anything else, at least about this kit, that I forgot, I took it down. Is there anything else that you want to talk about this kit or anything that's, coming up rest of the year? I know, obviously, y'all don't play until summer. You probably have some things stenciled in. Just want to see if there are any other thoughts into kind of that creative process for this year as well.
Yeah, like I said, so I think this lineup of kits is probably, I'm biased, but I think it's going to be one of the best lineups, like top to bottom amongst U.S. soccer.
Okay.
Like even MLS. Like.
Okay, that's not much of an argument. Let's be
honest. Oh yeah.
I mean, if you see the leaps out, it's not that hard of a bar right now.
Yeah, but like I think you guys mentioned this on Thursday's show. Like clubs that have one design and they do a color swap for like the away.
Yeah.
We're not doing that. Like each kit is like its own unique thing.
Love that.
So like
Own story.
yeah, though we do have one template kit, which is a goalkeeper kit, which is fine. It's gotta be orange and black, like the Giants. So
See, still keeping with the San Francisco landscape, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, like so we're doing a bespoke training kit. I think you guys said maps are out recently, but we're subverting it. Like I don't think this has ever been done. So here's a sample. This isn't the final, so it's gonna look slightly different. But we, so last year we did like the Muni inspired jerseys with like the liveries and the uniform.
Yeah.
So for our training kit, we're doing the system map.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Please.
That's not just a map kit. Like when it's system maps and
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I am all for stuff like this. Like because as much as a lot of people like, you know, stuff like that, that is more your city, and a lot of people know what that is without even sometimes even knowing what city it is. They can just tell by that outline, like or that type of map, and they're just like, okay, that's San Francisco, or like it's so identifiable. I love that so much.
Yeah. So we're excited about that. That one's dropping. The NBA All-Star Game is coming up in a couple weeks here.
Ooh,
so we're gonna try to kind of like join that conversation a little bit, or, you know, kind of like break the noise from that. So we're gonna try and release that around. I'm excited about that one. I think it's my personal favorite out of the lineup. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Then our third kit, Pride kit / goalkeeper kit, is in collaboration with this artist, graffiti street artist named Jeremy Novi. We announced this partnership.
I love artist collabs. I'm sorry, I always love artist collabs.
Yeah. Well, so not to get too sidetracked, but in the summer of, I think it was also summer 23. So back on, no, summer 24. The Chronicle was like, hey, St. Francis was the patron saint of animals, but San Francisco doesn't have an official animal, so let's change that.
Oh.
So they had a contest to pick San Francisco's animal. Then we kind of hopped on the bandwagon and said, whichever animal wins, we'll make a kit inspired by that animal. So there's a neighborhood called Telegraph Hill that has these like wild parrots. There's like a documentary made like in the early 2000s. So we're like, oh yeah, cool. We're gonna do a parrot kit. Then like a month or two later, San Francisco elections had a contest for the new I Voted stickers. And the winning design had these parrots on it. So we were like, hey, who knows this artist? And one of our new followers who has a podcast called Muni Diaries about stories on Muni, they're like, oh, I know that person. We used to be like roommates. So they put us in contact with the artist, Hollis Callis. And that's how we designed the parrot jersey. And that just like blew up and went like, not viral, but you know, kind of wild. And then we're like, okay, we need to do more of this. So I was kind of like looking at other artists that we could use. And if you're ever walking through San Francisco, you'll see these like koi fish spray painted on sidewalks. And it's this artist named Jeremy Novi. He also does them around the world and the country. So like New Orleans, I think, has a bunch. Palm Springs, I think, has a lot.
I love that.
over by the library here, the main branch, there's two 75-foot ones that were recently done.
Jeez.
Yeah, so he's allowing us to kind of like work with him and use his kind of like art to make our pride kit with some koi fish.
I love that.
That's gonna be awesome. That's
yeah. Then yeah, so that's kind of like the lineup for this year. Then I'm already shortlisting artists for 26, then ideas for 26.
Yes.
Never stop.
yes,
I just love
those for 27.
yeah. Like the Keezer idea I had for a while. Then people wanted the fog kit more, so I was like, okay, we'll put this in our back pocket for the next. So have like a list of ideas. I'd share them now, but I don't want other people to get like. I've said ideas that I've had for the club like online before, and people have tried to like circumvent us from doing stuff, so I have to keep it a little hush hush.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a bunch of like stories we're able to tell with kids, so it's like an endless well of inspiration.
I love that. Honestly, as Fox and I always talk about, is just how communities can kind of be representative in that story of being, especially when you have a community focused club like that. You can tell a story, and that's one of our favorite things. Like, there's a lot of stories out there that most people are not aware of. Or if you are aware of and you're from that community, you want to
Celebrate it.
story. Yeah, and celebrate it and honor it. And just seeing how much effort and thoughts, y'all put in to these kits and how much attention. I love that. And it just speaks to one of the reasons that we started the show is because we know how important these kits are. And it's great to hear that there are teams and creatives like yourself here and that are really passionate about trying to display that. And just wanted to say that once again because I just love hearing all of this stuff.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, like I see a kit, especially in lower league soccer, where like our club is ran by volunteers, which is great because there's no like overhead. Like our overhead is like the league, parks department for stadium rentals, coaching, trainers, and now this like space that we have for storage because last year everything was running through my garage and my wife was not happy with hundreds of it was like thousands of jerseys like in a small garage that I had to process.
If there's any extra larges or larges, I can help you out. And I
have space too here.
Well, fortunately for us, all of last year's kits are gone. But maybe
good problems. Good problems.
Yeah. We were a victim of our own success, for sure. But like I see like a jersey as like a key piece for a club.
Yeah.
Like especially like lower league. So like I guess a bad example would be like I don't know if you guys follow NASL now. Yeah, NASL. Yeah. San Francisco had a team called the Deltas.
Yes, and Indy played them. I remember them. Yes.
Yeah, and they were one and done. They won the championship that year. But they try to have like fan involvement, and I wasn't involved with this, so I was kind of scratching my head on what the fan involvement was. But like the name was picked by fans. But I was like, why is Deltas the name of a San Francisco team? Yeah. And like their reasoning didn't make sense. It was like about the Greek alphabet and like the delta, like the water kind, and their colors were like black and red. Like it didn't make sense to me at all. Their logo was like kind of odd looking. So it lacked like the identity of the city.
Yeah.
So when I was like searching, so when I was like searching for soccer teams, I was like, okay, I don't want like that. Oh, I like this. Like one's pro, one's not, but I like this a lot more. So with jerseys, like like if it's a good jersey, people wear it on the off season. It's just like additional marketing.
Yeah.
And jerseys pretty much pay for themselves because I don't think it's like anything revolutionary, but like most jerseys cost like $35 to make.
Yeah.
So clubs just kind of mark it up. Like ours are now 85, just to help pay for like the shipping, logistics, and all that. But we also like try to add in like more quality materials, like textured badges and vinyl,
And
sponsors and stuff like that. Yeah. So the jerseys pay for themselves. That kind of generates the money for clubs, especially in the off season. Because like I think I forget his last name, Dennis something, but the guy from Foursquare who owns Kingston Stockade. I don't know if you guys know that club. I think they're in PSL.
I think they're NPSL. They're one of the stalwarts, if I remember, who've been there for a while.
Yeah, like I remember like seeing an article, and he was talking about the guys at Detroit City telling him when they were in NPSL that they're a t-shirt company 70% of the year. So because our season's so short, so it's like, okay, how do you kind of survive? How do you keep momentum?
Right.
How do you kind of do all these things? And like jerseys and merch go a long way. So I don't know why more clubs don't do templates, because I have this idea for our division to do something similar to like the Serie A, or I guess Italian football.
Yeah.
The Scudetto or Scudetta.
Right? Yeah, the Scudetto. Yeah.
Yeah. So I emailed like all the teams. I was like, oh, it would be cool like if we had a patch, like it could be like a golden poppy, which is the California flower, for whoever is top of, like whoever wins the division, they wear that the next season. Then like a handful of the clubs are like, oh, we don't change our jerseys. So I was like, but why? Why not?
Yeah. So you don't put in an effort? Okay.
Yeah.
But that just reminded me, I hate calling them this because one, they're actually doing well this year, or last year they did. But like Forward Madison is one that you think of a lot when you think of jerseys, effort, and stuff like that. But for the longest time, I would have called them Forward Madison Fashion Club.
A lot.
And because, they had really good merch, so that goes with, 80% of the year we're a t-shirt company.
Yeah.
Cracks me up. I love that.
Hey, I will also say y'all have also done well with the merch department as well. I've seen some of your hats. The hat that released with the jersey, I was a big fan of. I'm also a big hat person, so I will never shy away from good merch like that. It's just, I love it when teams put in the effort to make their team like their branding a part of the community. So I noticed this at times, like when I especially went overseas. I went to the Luton Town match in there in England, as well as obviously Dortmund. And I noticed there was a different set of branding for the community that people would wear. That was different than like what you would see people selling at least from what I've seen here in the US, and it's slowly changing to be more like that. And I think in trying to find that type of branding or that type of way that your team, your community can be worn all the time, and it doesn't like stand out too much, or not stand out, but like you can wear it all the time, right? It's not.
Yeah.
It's just a good looking whatever it is, and teams are conscious about it. I love that.
Yeah, it's evergreen. Yeah, like a lot of clubs in like USL2 and whatnot, like they'll have like, if you go on their website or shop, they'll have like a bunch of stuff, and it's just, it's a long sleeve in red with their logo, or a long sleeve in black with their logo. They just put their logo on everything. And I think we rarely put our badge on our merch. Most of our merch is, we try to just have it kind of be San Francisco or like inside jokes. So like, I don't know if you guys have seen us post anything about like city till I moved to Colma. A lot of clubs. Yeah, so a lot of clubs say like blank till I die. So it's like Sutherland till I die, Rose City till I die.
Yeah.
So Colma is a necropolis south of San Francisco. So it's where all the cemeteries are. So it, again, like subverting this kind of common phrase and making it our own, where, I'll have a hoodie on and I'll be walking my dog, then people will be like, oh, that's funny, that's hilarious, or can I take a photo? So it's like an inside joke. Some people who like, it takes a minute because sometimes they'll think, well, it's kind of like now a double entendre, because some people see it as, oh, it's so expensive to live in the city that you have to move out to Colma. But then also like back when San Francisco was expanding west in the city, they dug up all the cemeteries that were in the city, then put them on like streetcars and took them all the way to Colma. So they actually did move dead bodies. So it's like stuff like that. Then like I actually have do I have the hat up here? Maybe I don't have one by me, but like there's a public figure named Emperor Norden, who I think he migrated from Austria. Yeah. So he migrated into San Francisco in like the late 1800s, mid 1800s, or whatever, and he just declared himself Emperor of the United States, Protector of Mexico. And he would go around making all these decrees like, oh, there should be a tunnel or bridge connecting San Francisco to Oakland. And these were like decades before the Bay Bridge and BART was even conceived of. So he wore a hat with like a feather, or with feathers. And I was like, oh, this would be cool to remix Ajax's badge. And it just kind of worked perfectly. So we got like that. Then we did something similar with St. Pauli. A lot of the people behind the club are fans of St. Pauli. They're like ethos and all that.
Yeah.
They have a castle on their badge. San Francisco doesn't have a castle, but it has this armory, which is like almost a castle. I don't know how long ago it was, but it used to be a porn website studio called kink.com. So we replaced like the 6-pointed stars on St. Pauli with like BDSM iconography. Then we had like on the back, it was like, like very like true to us and true to St. Pauli of like, no fascist, no racist, no homophobia, transphobia. Then at the bottom we said no lawless. So
I'm just learning so much history about San Francisco that I did not know before this interview. I absolutely love all of this, by the way. Like I love everything gems like this.
You're selling it so much more, because I've already said that like I'm willing to move to San Francisco just so I can be around this much soccer. But now you're just selling it easy. Yeah. I just had to convince my wife.
Yeah, like lower league soccer is not so serious. So I think, clubs should be able to have fun, and, a good way to do that is like through merch.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's kind of what we talk about with minor league baseball. Everyone knows no one cares about it. So like just lean into the goofiness, pretend, trying to be all corporate-y, just embrace the chaos, embrace the fun branding, and just kind of have fun with it.
Make a sick hat.
Yeah, make a sick hat. actual shirt.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw this, but the Portland Pickles, the wacky baseball team who like branched off and created official league. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's public knowledge. But yeah, they
I didn't
developed,
know that they were
yeah. So
official
like
league, but
official
that's cool.
league is like owned by the same people behind Pickles baseball team,
Huh.
but they're joining USL 2 this coming season.
Oh,
It was like announced like I think earlier this week that they'll be playing. I
Uh,
think in the same division as Ballard.
I was hoping we had an exclusive drop just now.
Yeah.
You heard it on KitSZN.
But yeah, so that'll be interesting bringing that like Pickles personality
Yeah.
Yeah,
to USL 2.
we need Savannah Bananas ownership in the league. Except for like, we can keep our soccer rules. We're not changing the game. Like they changed baseball. They have banana ball.
It's their own sport at this point.
I keep saying that we need Forward Medicine and Union Omaha to have a neon night.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Like, I would, do it. Like they have the jerseys. You know what I mean? Like they could. Omaha literally had glow in the dark jerseys last year.
And Madison's tempted with it.
And anything that Forward Madison does works well in a black light. So
yes,
I
would
went.
just be like, I guess, painting the pitch. Right?
No, they did it because they did it for baseball.
Glow in the dark baseball.
Yeah, it was like the
stuff
they put in the grass.
Yeah, and then also like black lighting.
So it was like blacklit.
Yeah.
So
I don't
something
know.
that they put in the grass made it visible.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, no. I'm just thinking like
nothing to do with what we're talking about.
No. I'm just thinking like logistically, like if they're like us, right? They don't like own their stadium, so like dealing with like another entity to like be like, hey, can we replace all these light bulbs with?
Do not abandon our spirits on this. We're going to keep pushing this. We're going to.
No. I think that'll be sick. But I'm just trying to think of.
Just ruining my dreams. Is what you're saying.
No. Start a change.org.
Change.org.
Yeah, that's good.
Hey, we will slowly push this idea and make it happen. We don't care how long it will take. Is there anything else that you would want to talk about in regard to San Francisco City, or just this whole tip process that kind of went involved here in tonight's from tonight?
Anything to add? No, I don't. I guess I don't have anything else to add. I just wish more clubs took chances and just like doubled down on their city. Because I think you guys are saying they're like, I don't know why templates are even an option. I mean, I get it in USL too if they're like the academy, but like if you're in like one or championship, it's like,
right?
Why not?
Right?
Because so I understand these clubs that started in 1703, and like in Europe, and they've been here for now 1,000 years, and like they had a black and white stripe, and they've kept with it because that's all they could physically make. Logic. Yeah. Okay, cool. And like now they want to keep that tradition. Like you see a black and white striped jersey, Juventus. Like that's Juve. Like I get that. But like you said, like the technology we have these days, the fabrics that we have these days, you don't have to stick with a black and white stripe if it's your first season. You can represent your city. You can represent your town.
Also, the sport's relatively newish. I'll say relatively because you did say, San Francisco City is kind of an old club. Is that like build some history and the best way to do that is through your kits, and a lot of teams miss out on that. So I'm fully on board with that. So
you
don't want to.
And also just like like what our deal with Muni has kind of like taught us is like we're approaching like partnerships differently.
Yeah.
Where this was like a no money, cashless, essentially in kind deal.
Okay.
So, you know, like maybe don't partner with, you know, like the local law firm because they're offering you, you know, X amount of money.
Yeah.
Maybe you find that local business that has like the sickest logo and be like, hey, you know, can we license or, you know, use your logo on our jerseys, and kind of like show them the possibilities of like, oh, like these will improve the jersey, and you know, it's going to create all this like buzz, and you know, kind of
Right.
we're very fortunate being in San Francisco because one, there's like so many people here where, you know, like there's someone always probably wanting or able to like buy our jersey. And, you know, I can't really say the same for like, I guess like St. Charles, to use them as an example. I don't know how big that city is, but like
Yeah.
they might not be able to be like as like robust with, you know, buying like so many jerseys to sell.
Right.
But,
Right.
you know, I'm sure St. Charles has like a pretty cool, you know, like one-off kind of business that, you know, would be so cool like on a jersey, and kind of think of it that way where, you know, it's adding like a benefit to the community because it's like a community thing, and it's also like really cool
It
branding.
kind of reminds me of like when I used to play baseball as a kid. We always had like the local like random shops that no one, like unless you're from the town, no one knew about that business, and you got to wear it on your baseball jersey. I love to see more of that. Yeah, just like imagine if there's like a local pub that a lot of people go to for soccer specifically, and like, hey, let's throw you on a kit,
Mm-hmm.
and that just everyone wins in that case. You know, your pub gets more notice, and teams get to incorporate their communities like soccer pub into their kits. I don't know.
Yeah.
As a teacher, I'm slightly against that. Just slightly. Just because I like to wear my jerseys to work. And it's always hard for me to argue, like, no, this isn't a giant bar brand. This is an Amsterdam tavern, you know, like it's. But I love the idea. Like, I agree with what you're saying, but just in my head as a teacher, I can't wear that for first graders.
No, yeah. Like,
I wish we did that.
yeah, the brand has to kind of be a little
Family oriented.
Yeah,
has to make sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I agree, like, because I have a jersey that it's our like AO St. Louis jersey, American Outlaws, and it's has the Amsterdam Tavern, which is the AO bar that we're like a part of, and it's one of my favorite jerseys. And the logo is really sick too. So, you know, big giant logo right there on my belly, and I love it. But I don't ever wear it to work.
Yeah, it could also be like, I don't know, like tattoo shops tend to have like pretty cool logos because, you know, they're artists. So
yeah, if I see a tattoo shop that just says tattoo or like there's no effort into it, I don't go to it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like I have a bunch, and yeah, I don't touch them because if you can't put effort into your marketing, obviously you don't care about the art. And if you don't care
it's
about
the first impression.
You're not putting it on me.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Do you have anything else here, Fox? To kind of wrap up this interview. Anything else?
No, we appreciate you so much coming out and talking with us. You're more than invited to jump on whenever you want to come rate some kids, talk some trash about Glenn's or whatever, you know. in a loving, competitive, friendly way. You know?
Yeah.
You're always more than invited.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great, chatting with you guys. I could talk ad nauseum about the club and the jerseys and
we
and
can
all
talk
that,
forever
so.
about jerseys as well. So
Yeah.
it's a fun combination. Hey, all I'm saying, as Fox noted, I just want to say I really do. We always love to just interact with people of this community somehow, some way within soccer. There are just so many people who are passionate specifically about kids. We got to meet a lot of great people. We're so happy to add you to that list and just kind of just learn more about this. This is kind of what makes this worth it for us. So and meet some awesome people. So again, I'll say thank
Yeah,
you.
for sure. Yeah. Cool.
Well, if that is all, I will go ahead and hit the recording. Yeah, honestly, I don't know how to end this, so I'm going to end the interview. I'll still talk after.
Thanks for listening. Make sure y'all check out all the new San Francisco kids coming out soon,
Yeah,
and support your local teams.
yes. Yep, he's got me, and follow us on YouTube and Spotify. Thank you.
Boom, 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 boom.